Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Companies to watch.
All right, good morning, and it's time to take a look at your shopping list. Does it need a refresh when it comes to the stocks and companies you've been eyeing? Well, Dan Koh is here to tell us all about it. Good morning, Dan.
I believe you were selected for today's companies to watch because you indulge in quite a bit of this product or company.
Who told you this? Because that's not true. I looked at it. I said, maybe Ryan should be taking this one. But, I'm glad to learn more about this stock.
Yes. So let's dive right into companies to watch, a segment where we spotlight and stock you up with ideas of listed companies that calls for your attention. So market trends to risks, as well as hidden gems or warning signs. That's what we're all looking at. 8855-0893. Text us and tell us whether you think it's going to be a hot or not. Okay, Audrey, I see that you're quite an alcoholic yourself.
What?
Right?
What?
The last time I was over your place, we had some nice wine,
I am a wine girly, yes.
How much of a beer person are you?
0. Okay.
At all?
Not 0. I tend to go for the darker, more heavier stouts.
Ooh, are we looking at Guinness?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, and like the porters, not so much a light beer girl, but I respect it. And I know that when it comes to like football and like sports, it's the easiest to just chug.
Yep, and get into vibes. And that's the reason why we're turning to a global brewer, and that's powered by strong local brands. I'm turning over to Carlsberg Group that was established back in 1847 by brewer J.C. Jacobson. And they've been boasting more than 140 brands in their beer portfolio, spanning the likes of core beer brands, craft and specialty, and alcohol-free brews. I don't know why people would go for alcohol-free brews,
I have tried it, actually.
Yeah.
This Carlsberg alcohol-free brew.
How was it?
It tastes kind of like beer. I'm not going to lie. Not bad. I think most people do it if they still want to get into the vibes and be part of the whole social thing, like during a game or something, and then they have to drive home.
Yeah.
I think it's a great option to have, but I had no idea they had 140 brands.
Yep. So let's dive into it. And there's a reason why I've decided to bring this company into focus for today. Now, the beer giant is finding itself at a critical juncture caught between divergent analyst views and macroeconomic headwinds. We're looking at recent downgrades by HSBC, coupled with challenges in its Brewing acquisition, that's the latest brand that they've acquired, and slowing growth in ASEAN that have sparked debate over whether the stock is fairly valued or primed for a rebound. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into what they've recently posted in their earnings results. And apparently, according to them, Carlsberg missed half-year profit and volume forecasts on Thursday, with the Danish brewer warning that it does not expect any movement or improvement in the consumer environment for the rest of this year. Are people counting down on their drinking habits?
Yeah, well, I don't know, I think that...
Are you?
I am. I think generally speaking, times have changed. As you age, you don't drink as much. But of course, when it comes to things like sporting events, which I know that, especially Europe, they take very seriously. They may see a little bit of a lift this year with all of the games. But I have to say, what I do remember about Carlsberg is that they trialed paper beer bottles a few years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're trying to really lead in sustainability.
Okay.
And I can't imagine a futuristic paper cardboard bottle that is able to handle beer.
That's so strange to think about.
But apparently they did it. So I think it got quite a bit of attention from the eco-conscious investors.
Yep.
But very interesting moves. And you talked about Brewing, which is an acquisition. I believe it's for juices. It's a UK maker of juices and non-alcoholic drinks.
Yep.
And I think that's great for Carlsberg to diversify beyond beer into the faster growing soft drinks kind of segment, but integration of that could be very tricky, right?
Yeah, it can be, especially in times of increasing prices, consumer prices we're talking about specifically, and a higher inflation. I think people are just tightening on their purse strings and perhaps just holding back on their drinking habits.
Yeah.
So the world's third largest brewer behind Heineken, as well as Anheuser-Busch, they've raised their full year profit guidance, breaking those rivals who opted to keep their forecasts unchanged, even as U.S. tariffs drive uncertainties. So volume growth of forecasts at all three brewers have disappointed in recent weeks. Good to see that at least they're still in line with what their competitors are doing. And that's as the sector battles with weak demand, tariff impacts, and poor weather, leaving investors fretting over growth. So Carlsberg, which apparently makes the Kronenbourg 1664 as well as the Somersby, they've also said that it had grown first half organic operating profit by 2.3%, while organic volumes had slipped by 1.7%, putting it just behind analyst expectations. But all in all, CEO did say that the group had delivered solid results despite a difficult half year.
Okay.
But he still doesn't expect that the consumer environment would likely improve over the remainder of this year and warned that their profit guidance might be narrowing. So it now expects annual operating profit growth of between 3 and 5% organically, compared with 1 to 5% from before. Its half-year operating profit stands at about $1.13 billion. That's still lower than analysts' expectations.
Okay.
But it seems like they're still handling it fairly well and still trying to figure out how to navigate this economic conditions that they're in.
And interesting that you mentioned weather patterns, because it does matter, especially in Europe, and a rainy summer can literally dampen beer sales there. But the flip side is, again, I think major sports events, I think the Euro Championships or the Olympics can really give sales a short-term kind of lift. So the 2025 calendar might still hold some upside surprises, I think.
Yeah, so hopefully that would keep some optimism in this space. But let's talk about HSBC's decision to downgrade Carlsberg from buy to hold and reduce its price target from about 910 to a 940 Danish krone. That underscored concerns about execution risks. So this comes on the back of Carlsberg Asia Pacific segment, which accounts for 20% of its revenue, facing uneven dynamics. We've got Vietnam's economic deceleration, Kazakhstan's post-pandemic demand slump problematic, and markets meanwhile in China and India remaining stable. So the bearish stance also hinges on whether Asia's growth can continue to rebound, but analysts argue that Carlsberg 45.8% gross margin and 9.3% ROIC, that's return on invested capital, might likely provide a cushion. So we'll still see how that holds up well for Carlsberg and whether they might be able to turn around, especially in the likes of trade wars, ESG pressures, and margin compression that could likely favor firms with scale and strong brands.
All right.
So if we just put everything into perspective, the reliance on Asia's volatile markets, that might be a risk, but they still manage their own supply chain. So everything from procurement to production, logistics, and planning, that is likely to be within their control to give them an advantage of being able to make the best of their operations and adjustments when necessary. And having considered that, my verdict for the stock of Carlsberg has got to be a hot, because it's a Friday after all.
Wow, it's a hot. Okay. I think that you mentioned a lot of, challenges that are ahead, but it does seem like from a pure fundamentals perspective, Carlsberg still has strong margins and manageable debt, and they have brand power. They have so many product offerings, 140 brands, you said, definite plus points. I do think that the volatility in the markets, slower growth outlook, make it a bit more medium term rather than a short term play. But I think that I will give Carlsberg a hot as well.
Oh, there we go. We heard it from the alcoholic itself. And that would pretty much do it for Stock in Focus Carlsberg. Now, Audrey, here's some fun facts about Carlsberg. It was founded back in, 1847.
Wow.
That's by J.C. Jacobsen outside of Copenhagen, Denmark. Did you know how the word or how the name Carlsberg came about?
I have no idea.
He named it after his son, Carl, and Berg, the Danish word for hill.
Oh.
Yeah, interesting, huh? So they even managed to, extract a 133-year-old living lager yeast cells, and apparently they used the cells to rebrew the first lager that was used, that basically used pure yeast. And they created artificial caviar from its beer in honor of the brand status as Danish national team's official sponsor for the 2018 World Cup.
See, that's what I want to try. Is their caviar.
And that would pretty much do it for today's Stock in Focus, Carlsberg.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.